Hi, how are you? This is Anthony back from Cypher House Escape to do another red dot puzzle from the 2018 red dot hunt. So let's jump right into case number 4, the end of Iverson. So what do we have this time? The police found a carefully positioned letter near Iverson's dead body. Perhaps it could help you make some headway on his murder. And we have a bunch of what appears to be clues for something. Typically, when you see a number in parentheses like this, that indicates the length of the answer. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these clues, put them in a Word document, and just start trying to answer them normally and see what happens. Normally when I'm solving clues like this, I find it's easier to start with the ones that are going to be really obvious or easy to look up on a web search. So for example, Robert De Niro film about firefighters is definitely backdraft. That should all be one word. That's all a 9-letter word. Whereas a mental image formed upon meeting a new acquaintance, I think is a first impression. That matches the length parameters here, is a 5-letter word and a 10-letter word. But there's always the chance that this could be something else, whereas there's definitely only one De Niro film which was about firefighters. So usually I like to start with these and work from there. As I start to solve these various clues, I'm noticing that a lot of them have some descriptive words that relate to position. So, like, here we have first. These two both have on. This one has last. These ones could also be head or lead. Those could both mean beginning, whereas last and back could mean ending. And here we have for as well, which could mean the beginning of something. So it seems like all of these begin with some word that means either before or after, like beginning or ending. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I go through and start finding the rest of these solutions. It's my guess that each of these clued phrases or words is meant to give us a letter, and we always know which letter to take, as indicated by the beginning statement as either being something that's first or last. So in this instance, the word's first, and the rest of the word is impression. The first letter of impression is I. So I'm thinking the letter for this second clue here is the letter I. And I'm going to keep track of those over here in this grid to organize it. Now in this example, we have backdraft. And back is a word that could mean the end of something. So I'm going to take the last letter of the word draft here, which is a T, and I'm going to use that for this one. This one's interesting because reservations or revised opinions about previous action or decision is probably second thoughts, but second doesn't really indicate the first or the last letter of something, but it does indicate the second letter of this word. And so adding that to our grid gives us the word with at the start of this solution, which is a good way to start something. In fact, this could be without, depending on what the answer to 6 is. I also want to point out that the puzzle has again hinted at this particular method of finding letters in a number of places. So the puzzle title itself is called The End of Iverson. There's that end word hinting at the position of a letter in something. Then there's this statement that the police found a carefully positioned letter near Iverson's dead body. So that phrase right there is essentially telling us exactly how this puzzle is going to go. And it kind of confirms that what we're doing is correct. There's also the word headway down here, which is of the form of the answers that we're finding in this puzzle. So there's plenty of hints in this puzzle to indicate how we're supposed to go to find these answers. I've decoded most of the words at this point and gotten letters for a lot of them, and a solution is starting to appear, we very clearly have the word without, and then the word a, and then some other word at the end here, which looks really close to a word. I like the beginning of it, and this S-I-O-N. I'm not super certain of this letter C here, and I don't know what letter goes here yet either. But I think we have enough of this word that we could use an online tool to help us figure out what this word could be. I really like this tool that's available at the website crosswordsolver.org. Essentially, you just select how long your word is. In this case, we have a 10-letter word, and you enter in whatever letters you feel pretty comfortable with. So I'm going to include the COV and the SION at the end. I think that the U before that is correct as well, but let's see how many options it gives us initially. There's nothing. Oops. Playing around with some of the letter options that I have, I was pretty certain of all of these answers towards the end of the word, as well as these ones at the beginning, and I thought that this letter V was correct here, and that this C, I thought the C could be wrong, but it looks like if I get rid of the V, I actually get a word that allows us to have that C in there, and it looks like a pretty solid word. The word conclusion could fit in here pretty nicely. So I'm going to take a look at the answer that gave me this letter V, as well as the missing answer for this 13th spot, and see if I can figure out what's going on there. So solving all of the clues gives us the phrase without a conclusion, and that's a little bit long to be our full answer to the puzzle. It's possible that that's the answer to the puzzle, but I think it's going to be something more concise, something simpler than that. So this is probably a final clue that we need to solve in order to figure out what the actual answer is. So something without a conclusion could be a cliffhanger, maybe? No. This is not going to end well. I like how even the wrong answers have jokes. After a lot of searching for possible answers and things for what without a conclusion could mean, eventually I stumbled upon the correct answer, which appears to be endless. We find that that's correct, and we're told that we're first class. So that's another successful solve of a red dot puzzle. This was case number 4, the end of Iverson. We have a number of puzzles left in this series, so stay tuned for those. Thanks again to the Red Dot team for coming up with this awesome puzzle hunt and giving me permission to post these videos. If there's anything else that you would like to see as far as puzzle content goes, leave a comment down below, and we'll try to incorporate it into our next video. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy escaping.